let's just stop right here for a second and talk about this. In our last video, we were leaving Glacier National Park and heading south towards Butte, but had absolutely no idea where we were going to stay or what route we were going to take. So we decided to track cross country. We tried to stay away from all the big cities. We didn't want to go through Missoula or anything, so we ended up going all back roads through Montana, and what a ride it was. We couldn't believe the scenery and lakes and mountains and everything else we went through, and we would not have gone this way if we had chose the normal route. So most of this video will just be driving along, but what a great ride we took. So come along, see all the scenery of the real backcountry of Montana as we head towards Helena and then down to Butte. Well, after driving for several hours through back road Montana and along lakes and past some really good looking dispersed camping, although we didn't stop at any because it looked a little sketch, because it looked a little muddy, two-wheel drive, yeah, you know about that. Anyway, we came across the town of Seeley Lake. Pretty good sized little town, and we found a place to gas up and continue on down the road.
Got it my way right now. You can go after that dude if he were at something. You're still good. You're good.
So after getting the okay to pull out on the road from the GPS sitting in the right seat, we took off to Helena, Montana, where we're going to try to find a place to stay for the night, but I got a feeling it's not going to go that good. And now coming up on the right is Nevada Creek Reservoir, which is really a nice looking earthen dam out in the middle of nowhere, and it really held back a nice looking lake.
You're good.
Check out the old bridge right in front of us right there, isn't that cool? And here's where we make our final left turn to go across the country to Helena, where we're going to, like I said, try to find a place to stay for the night or head on down to Butte. Well, after driving through all that gorgeous backcountry, we finally got to the west side of Helena, Montana. We were kind of tired, so we thought we'd start looking for a place to stay here. And our camping apps gave us two choices of free parking, or free camping. One was the fairgrounds, and another was supposedly a little city park, an outer city park. The fairgrounds had nobody there, and it was kind of sketchy. We didn't know anything about the area. So we went on to the other one, which was twice as sketchy because it was at a dead-end road in some neighborhood and nobody was camped at either spot. So we said, onward to Butte. Well, we couldn't find a campground last night on the way down here to Butte. We're outside of Butte in the Flying J. It's pretty new. It's a really nice place. And we had a good stay. It was nice and quiet. None of the trucks were really running and making a lot of noise, so we had a good night. The problem is we couldn't find anything because everything's full, or the dispersed camping was down a muddy dirt road that, two-wheel drive. I wasn't going to go down there. Well, now we're in the same situation today. We were going to tour Butte today anyway, and then go down to Ennis, Montana, which is not too far from Yellowstone, West Yellowstone. But everything's booked down there. The only thing we can find is a tent site. No electricity, so we may be boondocking there tonight until we find something. Problem is, it's Friday. Yeah, everybody and his brother's out trying to get away from everybody else by crowding into the national parks. So, worst comes to worst, we'll spend one night there and then head down to Tetons and hope we can get something, or we may find something dispersed on the way that we can get into. So, it's an adventure, and we're out on a travel adventure. So, we're out west. This is a really nice Flying J. We're about to go down there and get some ice and get everything ready. I don't know if they have a dump station here or not. If they don't, we'll find one someplace. So here we go, guys. On another day, no telling what's going to happen as down the road we go. Good morning, another nice day in Montana. We're outside Butte in a Flying J. We had to spend the night here because we couldn't find any campgrounds. Everyone we came across said closed, or it was a dispersed camping, which we could have gone to, but up a muddy road, which not good in a two-wheel drive. So we passed on that. Came down here and had a great night, didn't we? I mean, it was quiet, no problem. Solar's working good, so we had plenty of juice for the night. And today we're going to check out Butte, Montana, and then we're going to start heading south towards Yellowstone and see what we can find. So come along for the ride. As down the road we go. It's pretty windy out here today. We're at Butte and we're at the visitor center, and we're going to go on a Butte trolley, which is going to tell us all about the city and show us around. So come along for the ride as down the road they go and we go with them. Okay, we've just been to the visitor center here in Butte, and we've signed up for the 12:30 trolley ride, which ought to be real interesting, but it's only about 10 o'clock. Well, it's about 10:30. So we got a little time to kill, so we're going to do what all campers do when they have a little time to kill. We're going to go to Walmart. And then we're going to see if we can find a car wash or something where we can spray the rig off. It's filthy from dusty, dirty roads and construction and rain and everything else. So we just want to at least basically get the junk off. So that's what's happening. Here we go. Okay, we're at one of the mine pits. We're going to check it out.
For me with the mask on.
Thank you, buddy.
Looks like they've redone this. Looks like they've redone this since we were here. I think we had to climb up and over, didn't we? Huh? Yeah. Whoa, it's got a lot more water in it.
Financed the Industrial Revolution. By the 1950s, millions of pounds of ore had been extracted from the Butte Hill. By then, however, the Anaconda Company determined that conventional mining techniques...
It wasn't.
They didn't have hats.
No. Last time we were here, just a little puddle down in there.
Disneyland ride. You know, look at this. You like this? This is the reason Butte High swim team is so damn tough right here. kind of brutal.
You see, they opened up another one over there.
Brutal tryouts, but they do well. I'm going to try to give you an idea of what you're looking at here, guys. Quick overview of the history. We talked about that mountain of metal that was here. That's where the moniker, the richest hill on earth, is going to come into existence. It sat in front of you and just off to your left a little bit. Back then, in the center of the pit was a place called Beaterville. That was an Italian neighborhood. We still have more of our seasoned citizens in Butte that remember these old neighborhoods. They grew up there. It's where you can get a good Italian meal. It was also the center of gambling in Butte. That tradition's held on quite nicely. Butte folks like their games of chance. Across the big ditch, if you look straight, you'll see some trees and housing foundations.
They weren't mining
over
back there either.
That was called the McQueen. And how that hasn't got buried is beyond me. And then further to the right, where the East Continental Pit is, was called the East Side. So the McQueen and East Side, I always say Eastern Europe, Slavs, Croatians, Montenegrins. To your left, physically half of it is there. It was called Finntown. The one remaining building, the Helsinki, still stands. And in the basement of that bar is the original Finn Baths.
This is a closed open pit. It's all full of water now, and they're trying to clean it up because it's really nasty. In fact, I said birds get down in there, and when they land, it just eats them up before they can take back off. So, not good. But over here, they've moved part of the mining operation over there. They're mining all that hill out now. They're not doing pit mining anymore. They just kind of take the hill down to nothing, and then rebuild it, which is good because then it's it's usable again instead of a big hole in the ground that's got acid water in it. So. Anyway, back on the bus. They will not let us film on the trolley. You can take pictures, but you can't film. So if you come to Butte and you want to film on the trolley, don't bother spending your money. Just drive around in your car and do it. Although there's a lot of good information on the trolley. But we'd been here before. We thought we'd take the trolley and really find out the history, which we have, but no video. So you'll be looking at a few still shots that Shirley took and I took. So let's get back on the bus. Although I was not real happy about not being able to film on this tour, which was the reason we took it, we did get some good information. The guy that was narrating the trip was really nice, and he knew a lot about Butte. I think he was a school teacher there or something, but we did get to see some fantastic buildings and architecture and old stuff in Butte because of the ride we were on, the trolley. So don't let that persuade you not to go. You can take all the pictures you want, you just can't take any video. Something to do with copyright or something like that. So, normal stuff. Okay, we're leaving Butte and heading towards Ennis. We're going to see if we can find us someplace to stay tonight on the way down or after we get there. So, it's a crapshoot. Who knows where we'll be staying tonight. And we're leaving the visitor center now. And a little bit east, then we'll be heading south.
That place cleared out.
The visitor center is right next to a KOA, which, a gravel lot. That's about it. All right, here we go. In our next video, we take off from Butte and take another really scenic ride down to Ennis, Montana. There's a cool little campground we've been to before, and we're going to try to get in there even if it's a tent site. So come along for a ride next week as we go to Ennis through some of the most beautiful country we've seen so far on the trip. another beautiful day in Montana, I guess. We had to spend the night in a Flying J, which is outside of Billings on 90 because we could
We're in
find...
Butte, Dave.
That's right. That's at Billings.
Yeah.
Take two.
That's all, folks.